The City of Bristol, providing beautiful parks, economic development, and a family-friendly community.
All right, it's 6:46, so I'm going to call the joint meeting of April 12th to order, and we'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First agenda item is the approval of the meeting minutes from the regular joint meeting on March 8th.
Move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, consent calendar. Does anybody wish, to take anything off the consent calendar?
Item 3.
It's number 3. All those I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
So moved.
Johns gets a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. This is why I'm getting ahead of myself. This could get complicated. Number 3 is to make an additional appropriation of $17,605,000, $980 within the Coronavirus Relief Fund for various projects. These are the ARPA projects.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to pull items number 45, 217, and 218 from this consent approval for voting on separately due to conflicts within some of the board members.
Okay,
Second.
great. We have a second. And why don't we explain those conflicts up front so that I know who's going out? We'll start with 45.
45, I believe,
Is the Bristol Boys and Girls Club.
Club, which I'm an employee of, so I
So
will
you-
not be voting on that.
So you have to abstain. 217,
217 is St. Vincent de Paul Mission of Bristol, and I'm on the board of directors, so I will be abstaining.
right? And Cheryl?
Number 218 is for the Grace Food Pantry, and I am on the board of the church.
Great. All right. So we will first vote on all the other projects. And do I need another motion for that, Therese? Or, yep.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on all the other ARPA projects minus 45, 217, and 218? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Let's do 45, and Ron, I'm going to ask you
I'm
to
abstaining.
abstain, and if you can leave the room in case there is some discussion, I'd appreciate that. We'll go, it'll be quick, I hope. So while he's walking out, I'll
Make the
entertain a
motion.
Yep,
Through the chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve item number 45, the ARPA grant for the Boys and Girls Club.
So moved.
I'm going to give Andrew the second, I think. It was a tie. Any discussion on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Ron can come back in, and 217 will be Sue as we're switching out.
Could I do the motion while they walk?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve item number 217, which is an ARPA grant for the St. Vincent de Paul Mission of Bristol Incorporated.
Second.
Orlando gets a second. Any discussion now that she's safely out of the room? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Come back in. Andrew, you want to do the next motion? Go ahead while they're switching.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve Grace Baptist Church for the replacement upgrade gym heating unit for $104,000.
Second.
Second from John, I guess, so Andrew had the motion. Any discussion? Ready? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. That was pretty efficient. I'm pleasantly surprised. Good job. While Cheryl's coming back, we will bring up our comptroller for the monthly revenue and expense report presentation by Diane.
Your Honor, just before Diane starts, I just want to make a clarification. At the ARPA meeting yesterday, they made a change on one of the items. 217 is actually for Bristol Tool Works LLC, but it is for the same amount, $82,000.
Correct, so it's just a name change on that?
Yes, it was actually, it said it was Project 193, but it's Project 273, and then the name change was Bristol Tool Works.
Good, we don't need to make a motion vote on that, but
No,
just
just
a
the
correction of the
clarification,
record.
so that everyone knows what they voted for.
Thank you very much, Therese. All right, Diane, now you're up, thanks.
Well, I really don't have a lot tonight. The audit's done, the budget is essentially with the Board of Finance right now. They will be having their April 20th meeting, that is rescheduled. They did have their first workshop March 30th, so April 20th, there will be a workshop. Right now, it's scheduled for 6 o'clock, and then they will be voting on the budget April 26th. The Board of Finance will be voting, and then it will go to the joint meeting in May. I think it's May 16th. So as far as that goes, the budget's moving along. As you know, if you were at the presentation, it is a 0% tax increase. So we were able to achieve that with primarily the growth in the grant list. So if anybody has any questions on that, clearly, definitely call me. With regard to the monthly update that you have through March, tax revenues are still doing phenomenal. We're at 99.6% compared to 93.3% in the prior year. The prior year tax revenue, the tax office has been doing a great job there as well. We're at 1.62 million, 125% more than what we had budgeted. And again, with the supplemental motor vehicle, I know I talk about it every month. We budgeted 1.5 and we have already collected $2 million, so we're already over there. Building permits, we're at 116.7% of the budget, as well as conveyance taxes, we're 166% over budget. I think that's really it, unless somebody has any questions on the revenues. Nothing to report on the expenditure side. We still do have remaining about $600,000 in contingency. And we will be gearing up now for really getting the ARPA money going. Now that you finally approved it, all of that will need to be reported with the Treasury. Thankfully, not for this quarter, but for the next quarter, we will have to do that. So we do have a report due April 30th. So we're working on that right now to get that done. So other than that, there's really, unless anybody has any questions.
Through the chair, if I could, are we seeing any effect on any of our correlated investments from any change in the in interest rates? Or do we plan on seeing anything of that order?
So for the general fund, all we can invest in, we're very restricted. We can only invest in CDs, U.S. Treasuries, those type of investments. I know the treasurer does ladder a lot of those, so that a lot of them come due. Kind of looking at not putting everything, having things laddered so as interest rates will start going up, as things mature, they can be reinvested at a higher interest rate. So right now, that's really all that we're limited to invest in. So I know that the interest rates have been ticking up. I don't know if that answers your question, but.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks. Do we have any other questions for Diane?
Thank you.
Hearing none. We'll move on to number 5. Any other business to come before this meeting? No? I guess we'll go to 6. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'm giving Jackie that one. Do I have a second?
Second.
We're tied. There we go. Second down there. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. All right, it's 7:01, so we are going to call the public hearing to order, and I'll have Therese go ahead and read the hearing notice.
In accordance with the state statutes, the Bristol City Council, as authorized on March 8th, 2022, will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, at 7 p.m. in the City Hall Council Chambers, 111 North Main Street, Bristol, Connecticut. Interested parties are invited to speak in favor of or against the sale of Parcel 4, Center Square, formerly Parcel 3, to Wheeler Health, and Parcels 5, 6, 7, and 8, Center Square, to Carrier Construction, Inc. Item Agenda 1 is public participation regarding the sale of Parcel 4, formerly Parcel 3, Center Square to Wheeler Health or their nominee and/or their assigns.
And it doesn't look like anybody signed up for a public hearing. Does anybody in the audience wish to speak for or against? How about on Zoom? Going once? Not hearing anybody, we'll move on to number 2. Go ahead, Therese.
Number 2 is public participation regarding the sale of parcels 5, 6, 7, and 8, Center Square to Carrier Construction Incorporated or their nominee and/or their assigns.
Anybody in the audience? Anybody on Zoom? Hearing none. We'll move right along. So number 3 is to close the public hearing. So do we need a motion for that?
Yes, yes.
So
Make-
moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Great. All right, so I'm going to call at 7:03 the City Council meeting on Tuesday, April 12th, 2022 to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I can ask you perhaps to remain standing. I'm going to sit down to read some things. We are going to be, we have some guests this evening that are going to make their way in. I hope they're coming now. So Jerry Lagasse started the Connecticut Fiddlers Club in Connecticut on December 10th, 1972. He started that in his home, and then the club moved into the conference room at St. Anne's Church. The Fiddler Club has played for a wide and varied audiences all around the world, actually, and they've been in part of our Mum Festival since 1973. In honor of their 50th anniversary, they're going to play the Star Spangled Banner for us tonight. That's why you're standing. So when you are all ready, go ahead. Oh, by the way, I wanted to introduce them too. We have Ed and Millie Little, Jerry Lagasse, Kathy Charette, and Ed Rosado. After 3, folks. 1, 2, 3. Outstanding. Thank you all so much. Thank you for coming. Yeah, whatever way. Exit stage right.
I just had birthday this week.
Wow.
90.
And maybe we should, as he's walking out, wish Ed a very happy 90th birthday this week. Yeah. Thank you all very much. That was excellent. All righty. So we're going to go from the Star Spangled Banner to another recognition tonight. So I'd love to call Ella Nichols up, and I'd like to recognize Ella. Ella is a 2-time CIAC Girls Champion. She's a 3-time All-American wrestler, and she recently dominated the NHFCA tournament in Virginia Beach. She went a perfect 5-0. She has never finished these tournaments below 7th in the 3 years that she has competed. Unfortunately, due to COVID, she wasn't able to compete in 2020, And my guess is she would have been a 3-time All-American, a 3-time CIC Girls Champion. So I have a plaque here for her for obtaining the state wrestling champion title for the Bristol Eastern High School wrestling team. The All Heart City congratulates you on this outstanding accomplishment.
Thank you.
Wait, Mom wants one. Jeff, Mom wants one.
Okay, so from a little happier and positive things, I would like to take a moment of reflection to reflect on, unfortunately, the mounting casualties in Ukraine. I just looked it up today. There's estimated 14,000 people have been killed in the battles. And for me, one of the other things that was a little more difficult is that right now the estimate is that 4,000 civilians have been killed in that conflict. So I'm going to ask that we take a moment of silence. Thank you. All right. We're back on track a little bit. I might have done those a little bit out of order. But we're going to bring up item number D on the opening ceremonies. This is an overview of the City Hall project. So I'm going to ask Ray to come up and talk to us about where we are on the City Hall project. As he's coming up, I'll just preface this to say that we are very close to making, final decisions on the GMP, and we know that we will have a vote that will need to come before City Council. We've already are kind of pre-planning a special meeting, but we figured at the regular City Council meeting it would be great to get an update because we don't always get an audience like this at our special meetings and other meetings. So go ahead, Ray.
Yes, thanks for allowing us opportunity just in the project team to talk about the City Hall renovation project. It really is coming together as planned. Over the last couple of weeks, the construction manager, Demano Downs, has been receiving trade contract packages. The way the contract is organized, the project is broken up into various trades. Those are bid through the city through a public bidding process, but the contracts are actually held by the construction manager, once again, in this case, Demano Downs. So ultimately, the construction price for City Hall is a sum of those trade contracts plus a general contractor's fee from the construction manager, and then there's allowances, added in. Some of the materials presented, contained within your packet is kind of a preliminary summary of those costs, and those costs are really at this point based on the apparent low bidder. Part of the process that the construction manager spends a lot of time in is vetting those apparent low bidders. At this point, all of them are standing up, meaning that there's not an issue. We also went to the Board of Public Works and talked about some of the various bid alternates which were in the project, whether we wanted to exercise them or not. And those were items such as including in the project renovation of the skywalk, the maintenance, a garage out here, and those projects and those components were added along with a option to actually combine the plumbing and the HVAC bid. So at this point, and once again, it's still on a preliminary basis, but it's good news. The bids have come in very good, for the city. Even in this climate, there was, concern on the project team, and we're approximately 1.5 million below the budget, below the appropriated amount. Project schedule is as the mayor indicated, this is really an opportunity to present in a brief fashion, to city council. Certainly take any questions, and also update the public but the construction management team is still working on finalizing, the contract components, and we're actually looking for a special council meeting, the week on the 25th. I don't know if everybody has checked their schedule, but the word was at one point it was going to be April 28th. But, certainly project team will make itself available at any time. Based on that, we would look to execute the contract, literally the next day, the 29th. A mobilization, would start first, second week of May, meaning that there would be a fence all around, City Hall. As council is aware and public hopefully is aware through our public information, the various city departments have either, moved to temporary locations in what we're calling City Hall West, and then, City Hall East. So, government functions, will certainly go on, and that the substantial completion date is October 15th, 2023 of next year. Certainly, if there's any, questions, along with me, tonight is representatives of the project team, Chris O'Neill from architectural firm QAM, our project, manager, Ken Romeo from Collier Associates, and Frank Tomzak from D'Amato and Downs. And then certainly an integral part of the project team is Roger Russo from purchasing.
Great. What questions do we have from the council? Go ahead, Sue.
I guess it's a point of clarification. Could you explain how construction managers, such as D'Amato and Downs, can oversee and manage the total project and also be able to self-perform within the larger project? Is there any kind of conflict of interest? Is there a check and balance system? Could you just kind of explain how that?
I could, but probably the best person to address it, not to put him on the spot, is actually, Roger, our purchasing agent. It's not, particularly, uncommon, and there are mechanisms that we set up through the management team to, make sure that there's proper oversight.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me a chance to address that. Ultimately, the construction manager is responsible for managing all of the different trades that come in, whether it's mechanical, plumbing, site work, concrete, masonry, whatever. And when they do that, we actually watch them go through the scope review process to make sure that the individual trade contractors have everything that's in the scope. When we have trade contracts that the construction manager plans to bid on, they actually had to notify us prior to going out to bid that they were going to be bidding on those specific trades. And as we were receiving bids, we were able to monitor RFIs that were relevant to that to make sure that it was a fair and competitive process going through there. Ultimately, when it comes time to doing the scope review, the scope reviews, typically speaking, for trades that are managed directly by D'Amato Downs, are coordinated directly by them. So that they do the scope review for the mason, for the plumber, etc. For the trade contracts that were bid on successfully as the low bidder by whether it's D'Amato Construction or whether it's Downs Construction, it was our project manager, Collier's, and my office and Public Works that actually coordinated the reviews, the scope reviews, to make sure that they had all the scope items that were within there. Ultimately, the question that you're trying to get to is how do we make sure that there is a separate level of support management? Ultimately, when we have a construction manager, we're paying for a certain level of supervision for the project to make sure that they have staff that are coordinating the schedules and integrating everything. As we went through this process, we specifically had worked out with D'Amato Downs joint venture who their staffing was specifically to manage the project. And then when we did the scope review, we did the same thing for D'Amato Construction, and we're very specific as to who is the staff that's relevant to there, so that there is no interaction necessarily between D'Amato Construction and D'Amato Downs joint venture, and similarly for Downs Construction and for D'Amato Downs joint venture. So there is a separate component on that. Does that help you?
It does, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. we have any other questions from the council? No. Ray, I know we were working on this. I don't want to put you on the spot, but we had looked at, I think last week, it was about 30% of the low bids from the trade, from the trades was labor union bids. Are we still on that?
There's 22 separate packages. 11 of them were unionized companies.
So 50%. Okay,
Correct.
yeah. I know that's something that we've talked about and been out there, so I wanted to get that out there. Is there anything else that you think is vitally urgent for us now? We'll be looking forward to the special meeting for the final details.
You know,
but-
once again, the main thing, I think takeaway is at this point, the project is, proceeding as planned. I very pleased the way the bids, came in. My comment, to the mayor the day, we got them is that we have good news. The bids are coming in, very well. I would also say that means every week there'll be a challenge. What that challenge will be, I don't know, but we'll work through them.
Very good. Thanks, Ray. Appreciate it. We're good. So we'll move on to item number 2, which is the approval of the minutes of the regular city council meeting on March 8th.
Move approval?
Second.
Any comments, changes, amendments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
And Mayor, how about the special meeting on the 14th of March?
Yep, sorry. And I'll entertain another motion to approve the special meeting on March 14th.
So moved.
Second.
And that one was a short one. Any changes, additions? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 3 is public participation. We'll start first with my list here, and then we can go up to Zoom. I have Tom Doyle Sr. To speak on ordinances. And Tom, when you come up, if you can state your name and your address for the record, that'd be great. And just a reminder for all, as he's coming up, we ask you to hold your comments to about 3 minutes. I appreciate that.
Good evening. I am Tom Doyle Sr. of 181 Sherwood Road. My phone number is in the book. On a personal note, it's hard for me to get here as I am a caretaker for my wife. By way of introduction, I read a letter in the paper about a petition against burning medical waste. I would like to sign it because we should recycle as much as possible and avoid using harmful materials, such as plastic. I quote from an unpublished letter I wrote for the press. In Bristol, we need 2 new policies, one for clean air and one for essential flags. Until we get a clean air ordinance, we should fly the skull and crossbones at City Hall and elsewhere too. Warn people about dirty air, for dirty air can kill you. In conclusion, the air in Bristol is starting to smell from skeletons in some closets. We should wear gas masks until the air clears. In the meantime, sign the clean air petition. The life you save may be your own. Have a nice night.
Thank you very much, Tom. I appreciate you making the extra effort to come up here. I will just make one comment. You've been paying attention to our ordinance committee. We actually anticipate tonight that one of those topics may come up on our meeting agenda under new business. So if you can hang around, you can listen. But we will be addressing these through ordinance. So appreciate it. That's okay. You can watch it on Nutmeg TV later. All right. Next on the list is Rob Parenti to talk about a sidewalk waiver.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council. Just up front, I have very bad allergies. I do not have COVID, so if I'm coughing, I've been tested over and over again, so I assure you it's allergies. I'm standing here with some neighbors of mine from our part of Bristol, and we are here to humbly ask that this council use its power to remove a sidewalk waiver that was granted on August 25th, 2021 at a planning commission meeting for the application number 424, subdivision 505-545 Redstone Hill Road, 18 lots, assessors map 2, Lots 133, 133-1, 133-2, and 133-3 are 15 zone. The reason for that is there is going to be some new housing development there, and they're putting a cul-de-sac in. And that's all fine, but that does affect our neighborhood. And one of the talking points that my neighbors and I brought up at the Planning Commission meeting was that the safety of the neighborhood needs to be maintained. For those of you who don't know, Redstone Hill Road is a very dangerous road. No matter what traffic study you might read, there's a lot of trucks and very fast cars going up and down. And at the Planning Commission, the request from Attorney Dorval, who represented the developer, Charlie Brazy, was to put in sidewalks on half of the new cul-de-sac. And we felt that that's irresponsible. We have a very young neighborhood with a lot of young families and young kids, and we take pride in the fact that we all take care of each other. When asked why they wanted this waiver, Attorney Dorval gave no reason to the board other than they should just get the waiver. Sidewalks are not needed. Upon that, City Engineer Levesque stated that the city's policy is to have sidewalks along the frontage of each property and subdivisions, and suggested the commission review surrounding neighborhoods recently approved. That was never considered. Had they walked around our neighborhood, they would have seen there are sidewalks in every cul-de-sac. Also, the non-voting members of the commission all stated that sidewalks should be had for the safety of everyone involved. Lastly, and I'm going to call up Billy Cunningham, who's going to show you that when the original plan was submitted, sidewalks were actually part of the plan. So it was already planned for and submitted to the Planning Commission. So we believe that these sidewalks should be installed and that you should remove the waiver. If this council believes in the highest quality of life for the city residents, like I said, sidewalks should be put in the entire cul-de-sac. And I'll say this lastly, Mr. Mayor, you ran on neighbors helping neighbors. Well, we don't have neighbors yet in that cul-de-sac, but we will. So me and my friends here are helping those future neighbors. So please do the right thing and remove that sidewalk waiver, put those sidewalks in for the safety of everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have Joseph Smith next, so do you guys want to go in that order?
Good evening, Council. Joseph Smith, 54 Silo Road. I'm just here to reiterate and kind of back up Rob as being one of my neighbors. I live across the street from Rob. He's on DePietro. I'm in the Silo Village complex. And the safety of sidewalks is important. There's people walking constantly. We're in a point of development on our side of town. The top of the hill that abuts my property is going to be developed as well. I just feel that for the safety of the new neighbors, anyone else coming to the town, I feel that would be something that would give them a little bit of hope that it's easy to get around. They can form a nice loop to walk their kids, if they're elderly, what have you. Just a little bit of safety going from Redstone and around. Again, that's the application number 424, subdivision 505545. So I'm just here to back that up and just throw my 2 cents in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And last on this topic is William Cunningham.
Good evening, councilors. William Cunningham, 65 Silo Road. I'm Joe's neighbor, and I live across the development from Rob Parente. And as you'll see on the drawing that, and I also just want to say, I am a licensed professional engineer in the state of Connecticut, state of New York, and the state of Rhode Island. The plan that you have in front of you is a plan that's included in the Planning Commission set that was submitted for approval. And if you'll notice, the sidewalks are drawn on not only Redstone Hill Road, but on the full cul-de-sac that is proposed, Charlie's Way. The sidewalk waiver that was accepted has only half of the sidewalk to be constructed. So in summary, what we're really here for is to encourage or gain support from the City Council to go back to maybe back to the Planning Commission and revisit the sidewalk waiver so that we would like to see the sidewalks fully constructed as shown on this plan that was submitted to the Planning Commission. And again, as a registered professional engineer, it is my opinion that a full, complete sidewalk system would be beneficial not only to the neighbors, the new neighbors that are going to be in this Charlie's Way, but it'd be very beneficial to people that do walk on Redstone Hill Road. There is a sidewalk that exists in the lower left-hand corner, and this sidewalk that is proposed is going to connect to that. So if you have a complete installation of sidewalks that you see on this plan, you will have a complete sidewalk system all the way to the edge of the property. There's, as Mr. Smith referenced, there's going to be another application coming in the next month or so that's going to discuss continuation of the sidewalks up to DePietro Lane. So that's not part of this, but that's going to be coming. But again, as a registered professional engineer, it's my opinion that a full sidewalk system as shown on these plans should be constructed. And thank you very much for your time. Just as an aside, the good thing that you did eliminated the PLA on the city construction. I work for a non-union contractor, and we do probably much better work than union contractors. So thank you for eliminating the PLA.
Win one. Thank you. Any public participation on Zoom? I don't have anybody else listed here. So without any other further public participation, we'll move on to item number 4, which is announcements. And I'll start on my left this time. Go ahead, Andrew, you ready?
No, actually.
Well, then how about we start on our right? Go ahead, Sebastian.
Sure, this week is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, so I think I speak on behalf of everyone up here when I say thank you to all of our comms teams who help keep us safe 24/7. I think most people see a lot of personnel out in the field doing their job, and they get a lot of attention, rightfully so, but we have a lot of men and women who are heroes behind the scenes, getting people and equipment and personnel where they need to be. So I just want to say thank you, and your work is appreciated.
Great, thank you. Jolene?
Yep, I have 3 things for announcements. Youth Commission, the registration for summer programs begin today for Bristol residents, and they begin tomorrow for non-residents. Summer Learn to Swim program registration begins on June 14th. All activities are available for preview on the summer brochure and on the Parks and Rec website. For the Board of Education, the week of March 28th, the Board of Education held the annual Bristol Middle School Robotics Competition, sponsored by Bristol Business Education Foundation. Students from Chippens Hill Middle School, Northeast Middle School, Green Hills, and West Bristol competed in 3 challenges throughout the competition. The 3 winners were Northeast Middle School for their supply chain maze and the distribution. Green Hills for the home package delivery. So I want to thank everyone who was involved for that. And lastly, I would also like to acknowledge the winners for Voice for Change. Voice for Change empowers students to decide how the ARP ESSER funds are spent. We have Mia G. from Bristol Central for her BC Healing Garden. Alexia N. from Bristol Eastern for her project Be Hydrated, Be Healthy, and Be Sustainable. And Shyla E. from Bristol Preparatory Academy for student enrichment, lunch, and after-school clubs. And that's it.
Jackie?
Yes, I have one announcement. The Water and Sewer Department, they're pumping up for their hydrant competition. Their first trial run with spectators, they had a timing of 1 minute 34 seconds. And then their second trial run was 1 minute 22 seconds. Keep in mind, the best time for the 2021 competition was 1 minute 15 seconds. Their first competition in Worcester was 1 minute 55 seconds. They came in second behind Bristol, Rhode Island. So they did qualify for the national competition in San Antonio, Texas. April 26th, they will be competing in Bristol against Waterbury, Meriden, and New Britain. So we wish them a lot of luck.
Great, thank you. Susan?
2 quick things. First, from the Police Commission, I just want to, again, welcome Deputy Chief Matthew Moskowitz. I know on my Facebook post, I wrote down Mark because I was thinking of your father. So that was a pleasure that we were able to attend his swearing in. And second, myself and Counselor Olson, we are hosting our District 2 meeting. It'll be Monday, April 18th, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Indian Rock Nature Preserve. All are welcome. Come and share your thoughts. Let us know what we can work on. We have representatives from the police department who will be there with us, and the mayor is going to bless us with his presence. Just another chance to kind of touch base and get caught up on what the thoughts and the needs are in the community. And it is not only limited to District 2, so if you live anywhere in Bristol, we welcome you.
Thanks. Cheryl?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last month, I made a plea up here to have funding come in for a mural that the City Arts and Culture Committee was trying to raise. And I'm delighted to sit here before you today and say the funds were exceeded. And due to the generosity of everybody in the community, they now have ample funds not only to complete the mural, but do some additional training and education about the mural. So thank you to everybody who contributed to that. And I'm going to ask again I have another request. On April 23rd, it's Earth Day. And this is our chance to make Bristol shine. So from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., we'll be doing a community-wide cleanup. You can come get supplies, trash bags, or a free T-shirt. First 100 people get a free T-shirt if you come to 51 High Street and pick up the T-shirt. Or if you can't make it there, just clean up your street. If you can't do a large group, go to the park, go to the adjacent street, fill up a trash bag. If everybody contributes and everybody does a little bit, we can have all this litter that has plagued us from the winter picked up and our city can shine. So please join me and the rest of the council. We'll be all out there with our gloves on and our boots on, picking up litter, and we invite you to join us. So that's Saturday, April 23rd, Earth Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew?
I'm just going to quickly piggyback on Cheryl that Dr. Medeiros cannot go out and clean, so he has gracefully volunteered to clean homes instead of the streets.
April Fools.
That's an April Fool's joke,
I'll kick in with the Parks Department. The 71st Annual Perry J. Spinelli Fishing Derby is being held at Page Park Saturday, April 30th from 7 to 10 a.m. Kids 13 and under, they fish for free and attempt to win prizes and trophies for different age categories. The 30th Annual Youth Recognition Awards are being held on May 11th for Bristol's youth who go above and beyond with their contributions to our community. They'll be recognized on Muzzy Field in front of their family and friends. One more thing from the parks, the Rockwell Rockout Series is back starting June 24 from 6:30 till 8:30, and those will be held at the Rockwell Amphitheater. Excuse me, from the School Readiness Council, at the April 6th School Readiness Council meeting, the council performed their most important task placed on them by the Office of the Early Childhood Development, reviewing RFPs and voting on how the grant funds will be allocated. The Governance Committee, chaired by Sarah Holmes, and the Proposal Review Team, which consisted of SRC members Donna Osich, Lauren Kittle, Brenda Moore, and Amber Lipscomb. Hope I got that right. Reviewed and scored the RFP requirements set forth by the OAC. The City of Bristol received just over 2.8 in refunds for a reimbursement and $100,000 in administrative costs. The Museum of Learning submitted their RFPs and scored all 111 through 118 out of a total of 125, and were recommended funding for the 22 and 23 years. On to the vets. They're plugging away with their Memorial Day parade. Everything is all set. They're not calling it a parade, they're calling it a procession, sorry. It will line down at Hope Street, and it will take a left onto School Street, straight down to the boulevard to where the gazebo is, and the mayor will be speaking at the completion of the procession. The vets have their Patriots Day event being held on April 14th at 6:30 at the Man Ross Library. All the letters have already gone out to recipients, and they're waiting on their replies to be there. I reported to them the proposed flag issues that we have going, and they are very in line with what the council has decided to do. I had to bring it forth to them because it also will affect Memorial Boulevard to Park. The salute dinner preparations are underway. They'll be there. It's on May 11th from 5 to 10 at the Elks Lodge. The price is free for the recruits and $30 for guests. There's no tickets this year. All guests just need to sign up and pay through the Veterans Strong Center. That is a fundraiser, but also a salute to new recruits going into the military. Their family and friends obviously becomes a big deal. The cannon wheels, you'll notice, are taken off, and they are being replaced. There's two companies in the United States now that can actually work and repair these wheels. So if you see them, without them, they are being repaired, and they will be back. Again, that's all I get.
Great. Thanks, Andrew. And I just have one announcement. It's kind of an update from the American Rescue Plan Task Force. So we met again yesterday. You heard earlier tonight, if you were here, that we've approved $17.6 million already. Yesterday, another 2.4 was approved for the Workforce in Demand, a workforce development program, and that will be coming through the Board of Finance to us later. So we're at about $20 million. And one of the other new things that I just wanted to talk about briefly is that we were shooting for that $24 million of allocation. We were very, I will call it stingy on those projects, and therefore we have a pot of money that's still left. So for those applicants that were denied, although they had ARPA-eligible projects, we are going to look at a second chance opportunity, and there'll be more information coming out to those projects. These projects, though, will be focused on capital improvement projects. We figure if there's 40 or 50 people that can do a matching grant this time, so we won't grant them the full amount, that it'll be more transformational in the city of Bristol to fix up 50 or 60 properties. So we're hoping to do that. So we'll take that on. That's all the announcements I have. Did we miss anything? No. We're going to move on to number 5 then, our consent calendar. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Move on to number 6, reports and committee reports. We'll start with real estate. Go ahead, Sue.
Okay.
If you need it, you got it.
We have a couple of motions under real estate this evening. First motion, I hereby move to grant to Forestville Village Memorial Day Parade Committee permission to use 43 East Main Street for an assembly area for the parade marchers on May 29th with a rain date of May 30th. I further move that this matter be referred to the Department of Public Works to determine the appropriate location of the event on 43 East Main Street. I further move that the matter be referred to Corporation Counsel's Office for insurance compliance. I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Second?
Any discussion on this? Just one clarification, too, because we talked about the procession on Memorial Day. This is the day before Memorial Day with our other veterans group.
Mm-hmm.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Number B, or
Okay.
letter B, sorry.
I hereby move that the City of Bristol seek requests for proposals for the disposition of property owned by the city, known as Lot 102 Kilmartin Avenue, on Map 8 of the Bristol Assessor's Office, and that the purchasing agent be authorized to request proposals, and that he send out a press release in addition to the legal notices and update the city website. I further move that this matter be referred to Corporation Counsel to prepare and/or review any necessary documents. I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Second?
Any discussion or comments on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. And we'll go
Okay.
to the next one, C.
I hereby move that the City of Bristol seek requests for proposals for the disposition of property owned by the city known as Lot 106, Kilmartin Avenue on Map 8 of the Bristol Assessor's Office, and that the purchasing agent be authorized to request proposals, and that he send out a press release in addition to the legal notices and update the city website. I further move that this matter be referred to the Corporation Council to prepare and/or review any necessary documents. I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. We move on to D, and that'll be you, Cheryl, right?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve an annual wage increase from $12,015 to $25,000 for the Emergency Management Director effective July 1, 2022.
Have a second?
Second.
Jackie, second. Any discussion on this? Cheryl, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. As you know, this is all covered, this is covered by grant. 50% of this increase will still come from that grant, so the net effect to the city is about $6,000 for the year. And I would have to say that our current Emergency Management Director has far and exceeded any expectations and hours and duties over the last couple of years, and continues to do, though, that even despite how we're doing right now with the pandemic. And I think he's in the audience. Did I see him? So, where is he? I don't have my glasses off. Okay, nope. All right. But anyway, so we're pleased to do this.
I just want to echo that, my interactions with Harley coming in at the tail end of COVID, it's a full-time job that he's been doing, and this is well-deserved and probably long overdue. So I'm in full support of this. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right. Ordinance Committee, we go back to you, right, Susan?
Yes. Okay. If the laptop will. Okay. So this is from the Ordinance Committee. I make a motion, I hereby move that Section 7-18, Fire Suppression Systems Inspection of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Bristol, Connecticut, is hereby amended to read as follows. I further move that the city clerk publish and said amendments and additions to the Code of Ordinances, and that they become effective upon the expiration of 14 days from the date of their publication in a newspaper of general circulation in the City of Bristol.
Second.
Any discussion on this one? I know this one's come through Board of Finance. Are we all familiar with this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. And one more for ordinance. Sue?
Okay. This is an amendment to the Code of Ordinances pertaining to elections. Can I make a motion to waive the reading?
That's a motion. We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so then a motion to introduce. In accordance with Section 21F of the Charter of the City of Bristol, the following amendments to the Code of Ordinances are hereby introduced. I hereby move that the time and place of Tuesday, May 3rd at 5:15 p.m. in the main library, lower level, 5 High Street in Bristol, Connecticut, be set for holding of a public hearing thereon by the Ordinance Committee, and the city clerk publish notice of said public hearing and the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances as required by the city charter.
Have a second?
Second.
Great. Any little discussion on this? This all has to do with our voting precincts changing on the state level, and this all carries down to us. So a high level, that's it. We can talk more about it in the future if you wanted to add anything else.
I just want to say I'm amazed at both of our registrars, the work that they put into this. They kept the district lines, the city council district lines, almost untouched, and they were able to, do all of the changes for the state offices and the polling booths, and it was just absolutely phenomenal, all the work that both of them put into it.
Excellent, yeah, and I think each of the three council districts are now right around $19,000, almost perfectly matched.
Almost perfectly matched as far as population goes.
Good work.
Through the chair, I have a question,
Yep.
and this might be for one of the registrars. If somebody wanted to see this map online, is it on the city website that they could pull up the map and see where their street is?
It's not online yet. We didn't think it was proper to put it online before approved.
Okay.
But it is available in our office.
And will it be done before the public hearing that people could look?
It is finished.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yep, and just for edification, the registrar's office is over at 150 Main Street, the Webster Bank Building, and I've seen it posted outside their office, and you can go in and see them if you need to see it.
Thank you.
Great. All right, any other comments, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. I think that's all of our, yep, so now we just move into our committee reports. I'm going to start on my far right. Sebastian, do you have any committee reports?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the last meeting of the City Cemetery Commission took place last night, April 11th. And just to keep the council and the mayor up to speed, we're currently looking at some of the conservation needs of the Civil War Monument in the West Cemetery. Matthew Warschauer is a history professor at CCSU, and he's given us a lot of great information on the cemetery, the monument, and some of the conservation needs that are needed for that monument. In particular, the eagle that sits atop the monument, it's in pretty bad shape, so that's kind of the first critical recommendation, is to do some repair work there, place it indoors, find it a suitable home somewhere in town so that we can keep it in perpetuity somewhere. So that's the look that we're looking to do very near term in the next year or so. I know we talked about a table of cost estimates. We did have some communication with Matt. We're still waiting on those cost estimates. That's kind of the important part. And that goes from the basic of preserving the eagle down to the full restoration of the monument as a whole. So we're going to be looking at those figures once we get them. And the commission's also going to be looking at placing West Cemetery on the State Historic Register, which may open us up for some grant opportunities. There may be some restrictions as far as going on the register goes, as far as structures in the cemetery go, but we're going to have to do some due diligence there to make sure that that's something that we want to do.
Great, thanks. You all set, Sebastian? That's it. Jolene?
Yes, I have a couple from the Board of Education. The board sent out a survey a month ago regarding the new Bristol Public School logo. With the results of that, the Board of Education voted on the final decision, and that logo will be changed by July 1st. The Bristol Public School website will be in redesign soon and will accommodate alternate survey responses. The school's calendar has actually changed and has extended 5 days, so the last day of school for the students will be June 15th. Summer information for students regarding activities, etc., will be coming out shortly. For the Northeast Middle School Committee, the members of the committee had a meeting last week at the state to go over schematic design formalities, so that should be coming soon. By May, the plans will be sent to City Council for approval. By June, grant approval and submission to the OSCGR. And lastly, Ivy Drive is actually one of the first schools to create a sensory room. And Ivy has been working with Culture City to help make this room as functional and purposeful as possible. Ivy Drive has also mentioned that they would like to expand this and have press release explaining what they have done and how beneficial it will be to our children. And that's about it.
Thank you. Jackie, committee reports.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. The Memorial Boulevard School, the construction is moving along. To date, $45,682,717 has been spent. $14,802,263 has been received from the state. There's $1.4 million in contingencies. They have 30 seats remaining to be filled for the middle school classes, and they have more interest than there are seats, so that's a good thing. On the energy side, due to energy cost efficiencies, the city has received in rebates $25,200. These are from projects which were for the fire headquarters, the Public Works Garage, and 51 High Street. There was $18,818 was returned back because that was it was factored into the overall budget for both the fire headquarter projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anything further? I think yours were all covered, or do you have any other committee reports?
So just a little plug for both of them. The ordinance committee meeting is always held on the first Tuesday of every month. Our next ordinance meeting will be May 3rd. We have a lot of very spirit-filled issues in ordinance, and this is the one committee, I think, where come on down. We want more public participation and be a part of the process. Coming up with ordinances here in the city of Bristol is, to me, I think, one of the important things that we can do, and we should all have a say in it. Real estate is also very exciting, especially in this market, and real estate is held on the third Tuesday of every month. So our next real estate meeting is May 19th. Come on down and participate. We'd love to see you.
Thanks, Susan.
April 19th.
April 19th, got it. Cheryl?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just, from the Pine Lake Committee, I just want to share that the fishing tournament is scheduled for May 7th at 9 a.m. So if you have a youngster, come on down. There are plenty of fish in Pine Lake that are just, wanting to be caught and thrown back. So please come on down. There's plenty of great prizes. This next one, I'm not on the committee, and I think we still have to appoint. But because I'm going to share this because it's my sister authority. I work for the New Britain Housing Authority. But the Bristol Housing Authority did open up their public housing wait list. This doesn't happen very often. And oftentimes the wait list goes 2 to 3 years before it reopens. So there are income limitations, of course, but they have availability in their multifamily residences, as well as some of the efficiency apartments or one bedroom for elderly or non-elderly disabled. So please, if you know somebody who needs this type of housing, financially can qualify, you can go to their website, that's Bristol Housing Authority, and check out the requirements. The list does close on April 21. So you've got roughly 2 weeks to have them apply. And so this might not open up for a couple more years, so I think it's real important to share that out there.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks. Cheryl? Any other committee reports?
None for me,
You're
Mr. Mayor.
good. All right. Then I think we will move on to number 7, unfinished business. I'm not aware of any unfinished business. No, hearing none. We will move on to new business. I'm going to ask Susan to start that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So recently, ordinance did bring onto their agenda the flag policy issue. And even also separate from that, our Public Works Board also had a discussion on this subject. The reason we put this on our agenda a couple of months ago, the discussion of flag policies, governmental endorsements, free speech, government speech, picking winners and losers, it elicits a very strong emotion and varied opinions and convictions on both sides and everywhere in between. It is for these reasons that the Ordinance Committee decided that such an important issue needs to be given an opportunity for considerable debate, research, legal review, and public participation. The ordinance process allows for the greatest extent of community participation through public participation and a public hearing. We hope to hear from many when we go down that road. To allow the ordinance process to play out, and as we await the Supreme Court ruling expected out this spring on this very topic, I would like to make a motion to put a moratorium in place that would restrict the raising of any flags at any City of Bristol maintained property other than official flags representing our nation, our state, our city, and as well as any official service flags representing the U.S. Armed Forces or flags representing a military unit in recognition of its service to our state and country. And I also further request that this moratorium remain in place until the conclusion of the ordinance process.
Okay. Teresa, I saw you taking copious notes. She has it here as well, so hopefully you have the motion. I just want to add, and I think you did a good job setting that up, that we did, and I see some Public Works members out in the audience as well, too. We brought this up in Public Works, and Public Works technically sent it along to City Council. So we're trying to do both things here to be as open as possible. We do believe that an ordinance that would go into effect is more rigorous through the process and a better way to do it, and it will be more lasting. It'll have to go through a full process again, but as a city council, we just wanted to honor not only Public Works, but also just set a standard until we can go through that public process, which will require more meetings through ordinance and a public hearing to get that input. So, any other comments? I know many of us sit on Public Works, so we've already been through this once, too.
I guess I should have waited, but I'll reiterate that the Veterans Council, they have our full-on approval and support for the flag ordinance.
Good, yeah, and so the slight differences are the city will fly the three flags of the United States, the state, and the city, but we want to make sure that we're have deference to the memorial parks, both the Boulevard and Forestville Memorial Park.
They supported the 6 branches of service and the MIA POW flag.
Yep, and that'll go through ordinance, so we'll bring that to them. Cheryl?
I was just going to say that at this point, this does not cover the city schools, but I do know the Board of Ed is working on their own policy in concert.
We have a Board of Ed member in the
We
audience
do.
smiling, so.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Great. I think we do have at least one more piece of new business. Andrew?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to bring up under new business a motion to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to sign a contract with Wolcott Technical School for construction of a roof at the new fire academy.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And just to add to this one as well, too, this was submitted on the agenda, kind of got mixed in with one of the other items on our consent agenda, so we didn't want to omit it. This is for the new burn facility and training. This is an $800 request, so not a big one, but we just wanted to get it out there and make sure that we put it through the process. Andrew, anything else to add? Did I leave anything out?
Nope, everything's there.
Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Any other new business? No? Okay. So we will move on to number 9, resignations. Teresa, I don't think there's any resignations.
Actually, there are.
Oh, there
Yeah,
are? I
we
didn't
do.
see them.
We have 3. Paula O'Keefe from the Board of Park Commissioners, David Stanish from the Northeast Middle School Building Committee, and Chet Reed from the Inland Wetlands Commission.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
And that motion will include a thank you note as well for their service. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we move on to appointments. Number 10, City Arts and Culture Commission. I'd like to entertain a motion to reappoint Kim Volante to a 3-year term that expires on 4/25.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Teresa, this is a new one, too. So we need to replace Andrew Howe with Cheryl Tebow as City Council Liaison to the City Arts and Culture Commission for timing reasons, and Cheryl's been attending those meetings. Do we need a motion for that, or is that a mayor's appointment? I forget.
The Arts and Culture, I don't have my book, and I'm no longer in City Hall.
Let's do a
so
motion to be safe,
I would do
then?
that to be safe, yeah.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Cheryl Tebow to replace Andrew Howe on the City Arts and Cultures Commission.
Yep.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. I would like to entertain a motion to reappoint Robin Manuel to a 4-year term, expires 4/26 as the Assistant Comptroller.
I want to make that motion. I so heartily make that motion.
Excellent. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Robin,
wonderful.
yeah, I got to sit down with Robin to talk to her, and I've known Robin very well through a lot of extra work that she did with the Board of Ed when I was on the Board of Ed a couple of years ago with some of that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, so I would like to entertain a motion to reappoint Justin Malley to a 4-year term that expires on 4/26 to the Economic and Community Development position of Executive Director.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments on this one?
Sorry, Justin.
Justin's over there. Looks a little nervous.
We're delighted too. Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Under the City Energy Commission, I want to make a motion to reappoint Jeffrey Andrade to a 3-year term to expire on 4/25.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. The Esser ARP School Building Project Committee appoint Jennifer Labriola as a citizen taxpayer of the school and the area that's served as a member.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. The Bristol Historic District to appoint Mary Beth Mazakowicz as alternate member, and that term will expire on 1/26.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is this one a mayor's appointment, the next one, the Northeast Middle School, or is that a vote one?
No,
Teresa?
he's a citizen taxpayer, so it is a vote,
Vote,
yes.
okay. Northeast, so to appoint John Smith to replace David Stanish as a citizen taxpayer of the district as a whole member. There's no term to this Northeast Middle School Building Project Committee.
So moved.
Do I have and a second? We should think twice about John Smith, right, with all of his experience on this. No, he'll be great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. I think she's in the audience, or she is in the audience. For the Board of Park Commissioners, I want to entertain a motion to appoint Emily Michaud to an unexpired term that expires on 12/23.
So moved and proud to do so.
Second.
Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to the Bristol Parking Authority, and I have 3 of them here. We're going to do them all together. So to appoint Robert Powell to replace Mary Beth Mazakowicz, 3-year term, expires 4/25. To appoint Corey Nagel to replace Todd LaRue, that's a 3-year term that expires in 4/25. And to appoint James Costello to replace Patricia Bedoin, who resigned on 12/29/2021. That's an unexpired term that ends on 4/24.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. And one more, for the hearing officer, Therese, that's a motion as well?
That is.
Yep. So we would like to entertain a motion to appoint Ronald Petosa to a hearing officer for towed vehicles, and there's no term associated with this.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. I didn't miss any, did I, Therese, or anybody else? No? I think we did good. We're getting better at those. The list is getting a little bit smaller. We are still entertaining resumes, and people should continue to reach out to us as appointments happen on the go. But I think we're kind of caught up with most of them, which is great. So let's move on to number 11, which is the resolution regarding the designation of the City of Bristol Cultural District. Who has that one? Are you going to do that one for me, Cheryl?
I can. Is there a motion? Just pull it up.
I think it's...
You want me to do it?
Yes, it's a resolution. Thank you. Whereas a cultural district has been designated to assist the district and community to develop a public-private partnership to support said district, and whereas Jeffrey Caggiano has signed a resolution of support for said cultural district, and whereas the advisory subcommittee to the Arts and Culture Commission, applied said cultural district for statewide cultural district designation. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Bristol that the city designates portions of Maple Street, Center Street, Main Street, Church Street, Riverside Avenue, and Memorial Boulevard as the Bristol Cultural District. The Bristol Cultural District highlights and promotes the exploration and participation of the arts and humanities through cultural and historical experiences unique to our community. Endorses the goals of economic vitality and enhancing community life and tourism through participating in the approval of the cultural district. Encourages that all residents of the city, especially those who own property or businesses within said district, involve and participate in fully in the cultural district, and endorses the city's Arts and Culture Commission to represent the management and measures of success for the said cultural district. Upon this motion, we want an adoption of this resolution.
Great. And Therese, will you do the roll call
We need
vote
a
for us?
second, though.
Oh, well, we need a second. Yes, we
Second.
do. Thank you very much. Roll call vote?
Yes.
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 Chair votes yes.
Through Mr. Mayor, I would just like to thank Dr. Maderis and the Arts and Culture Commission and the subcommittee for the hard work and extensive research they did for this district. A lot of effort went in, and I just wanted them acknowledged.
Excellent. That great point. Is this the second in the state, I think? Are we one of the first? Josh, if you want to get up and give us that update, that would be great.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you. So what this means is tonight, after the approval, we get to submit our application to the state. So from here, the state's going to send a representative to Bristol. We're going to schedule a site walk with them, so they're going to actually see our physical assets here in Bristol. So we'll be inviting everyone to that site walk. But upon that acceptance, we will be the second in the state of Connecticut to have the designation. So
Excellent.
hopefully later this spring, but we're in good shape.
A lot of great things coming together downtown. And this goes from the Boulevard to the Clock and Watch Museum, all the way downtown and to Muzzy, or
Yeah, if you look at the map in your
Yeah.
packet, it's really extensive, the amount of cultural and historic assets that are within the district, everything from businesses like Tea Salon to the monuments on the boulevard to the murals, so we're excited.
Excellent. Nice work. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We'll move on to number 12, and maybe somebody from Public Works can do that one, which is a contract for Tobacco and Sons.
Sebastian?
Sebastian, you want to read that one for me? Do you see it, the motion?
Yes, I do. Motion to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute an amendment to contract 2021-027A with Tobacco and Son Builders, Inc. in the amount of $450,000 to support DPW's spring and fall 2022 proposed paving program. Said work will be consistent with existing unit contract pricing.
Any discussion on this one or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to 13.
Which is a resolution. Whereas Public Act 21-29, Section 4, opt-out provisions for parking space requirements requires more than one parking space for each studio or one-bedroom dwelling unit, or more than two parking spaces for each dwelling unit with two or more bedrooms, unless the municipality opts out. Whereas on March 9th, 2022, the Bristol Zoning Commission voted to exercise the opt-out provisions for the following reasons. Number one, under the provisions of Public Act 21-29, the reduction in parking envisioned by Section 4 would not preserve and enhance the integrity and stability of Bristol's residential neighborhoods, as cited in the 2018 Bristol Plan of Conservation and Development, Section 10.2-1, entitled Neighborhood Stability. Number two, the reduction in parking requirements envisioned by Public Act 21-29, Section 4, especially during the months of the winter parking ban, which runs December 15th to March 15th, would be problematic and challenging, especially in higher density neighborhoods throughout the city of Bristol. Number 3, the Bristol zoning regulations also allow for an adequate amount of parking based on the needs of Bristol. Whereas the Bristol Zoning Commission recommends that the Bristol City Council pass a resolution to opt out of the requirements of Public Act 21-29, Section 4. Now, wherefore, be it resolved that the Bristol City Council does hereby affirmatively opt out of the parking requirement provision or of Public Act 21-29, Section 4.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Jackie? Any other comments on this? We have 2 of these that'll be kind of back-to-back from our own planning commission. That was pretty self-explanatory. Any other questions or comments here? Therese, I'll let you do, this is roll call vote, correct?
Yes.
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 Yeah, up to it.
Yes.
Yes. All right, and Cheryl, you doing 14?
I am, sir. Okay, whereas Public Act 21-29, Section 6, opt-out provisions for accessory dwelling units, ADUs, requires numerous provisions for accessory dwelling units, ADUs, all of which have been reviewed by the Bristol Zoning Commission, and all of which would be mandatory unless the municipality opts out. Whereas on March 9th, 2022, the Bristol Zoning Commission voted to exercise the opt-out provisions for the following reasons. Number 1, under the provisions of Public Act 21-29, the use of accessory structures as accessory dwelling units within the city of Bristol would not preserve and enhance the integrity and stability of Bristol's residential neighborhoods, as cited in the 2018 Bristol Plan of Conservation and Development, Section 10.2.1, entitled Neighborhood Stability. Reason 2, the Bristol zoning regulations already provide for a diversity of housing opportunities, as evidenced by the City of Bristol's overall affordable housing percentage of 14.87%. Number 3, the Bristol zoning regulations already permit accessory dwelling units, whereas the Bristol Zoning Commission recommends that the Bristol City Council pass a resolution to opt out of the requirements of Public Act 21-29, Section 6. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Bristol City Council does hereby affirmatively opt out of the accessory dwelling units, ADUs, provisions of Public Act 21-29, Section 6.
Second.
Any discussion? We will go ahead and do the roll call vote then.
Yes.
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Tebow?
Yes.
Howe?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes. All righty. So next on the agenda is an executive session. We will be going in for 15, 16, 17, and 18 this evening. Attorney Kerwicki, who we're going to be bringing in with us.
So on all of the items, the lawyers from the office will go. On items 15, 16, and 17, it'll be the personnel director.
Yep, Mark Penny, he's back there.
Yeah, no, I was looking for the chief.
Chief is not here, by the way. He's on vacation, so just Mark. Sorry, I forgot to tell you
And
before the
on
meeting.
item number 18, it will be our outside counsel, Nicole Fletcher.
Great. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Sebastian gets a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll move into executive session. Nobody opposed, right? I should have asked. 46, no votes were taken in executive session, but I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Let's take them in the order that they were here. So who has the 115? Executive Chief Morello? Yep.
I make a motion to approve the agreement with Deputy Police Chief Mark Morello to refer the matter to Corporation Counsel and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Second.
I think Cheryl got that one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Number 16, Sue?
I make a motion to approve the agreement with Deputy Police Chief Matthew Moskowitz to refer the matter to Corporation Counsel and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Second. Andrew, got it. All those in favor?
Aye. No.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Number 17, Sebastian, you had that
Mayor,
one?
make a motion to approve a separation agreement with Mr. Luis Calle to refer the matter to Corporation Counsel and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Nay. Nay.
Nay, okay. So we have one dissenting vote, all the rest in favor. Motion carries. Number 18 is you, Andrew, correct?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like hereby move that the City of Bristol enter in a full and final settlement in the matter of Peter Beckstrom versus City of Bristol for any and all workers' compensation claims for the total amount of $45,000. The dates of these claims are listed below but are not limited to the following: January 24th of '06, February 19th of 2011, January 23rd, 2017, March 12th, 2018, November 26th, 2019. In addition to the full and final settlement, the City of Bristol shall sign a general release waiving any and all claims that it may have had as to any overpayment of wages related to the above matter. I further move that the mayor, acting mayor, corporate counsel, or assistant corporation counsel be authorized to execute the full and final settlement and any other documents to effectuate this motion.
Second.
Sebastian, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Any other business to come before us? I think we can we wait till next meeting? We'll do that on that one. All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.